Do this before it's too late. There is a secret key, encoded by Thoth millennia ago, that unlocks 100% of your manifestation power. And in the next few seconds, I'm going to give you the first piece of that key. Pay close attention. That feeling that the universe is testing you, that coincidences aren't coincidences, isn't paranoia. It's the observer effect awakening in you. Most people go through life in the passenger seat, but not you. If this video found you, it's because you're being called to become the pilot. The truth is, your attention carries real weight, a power to collapse reality that's been hidden from you. And there's one mistake, a single mistake that 99% of people make, that completely blocks this power, no matter how much they try to think positively. But today, you're going to find out not only what that mistake is, but how to use Thoth's key to turn it into your greatest strength. Stay with me until the end, because what I'll reveal in the last part of this video can change your reality forever, literally overnight. If you feel like you're at your limit, ready for change, comment. The key is activated to seal your intention. And let's begin. The fact that you're here right now, watching this, means your inner vibration has risen or shifted in such a way that it's become compatible with this level of knowledge. The universe didn't bring you here by accident. It simply responded to the new frequency you began to emit. Think of it like tuning into a radio station on an old device. All the stations exist simultaneously in the air, broadcasting their music and shows all the time. But you can only hear the one whose frequency you tuned into on your device. In the same way, all information and realities exist as potentials in the quantum field. But you only experience the one that matches your personal vibration. You, whether consciously or not, have turned your inner tuning fork, and the universe, in its infallible precision, responded. This isn't just information you're seeing, it's a mirror reflecting a change that has already taken place inside you. So that feeling that your attention changes things isn't paranoia. It's your brain beginning to access the fundamental physics of the universe, a mechanism that goes far beyond what conventional science dares to admit out loud. And the secret to not only understanding but consciously controlling this ability isn't hidden in complex quantum physics books, but in a primordial principle that the ancient masters encoded as the first and most important of the 7 universal laws, the key that opens all the other doors of perception and power. This first universal law reveals a crucial distinction, an invisible line that separates humanity into 2 fundamentally different groups. On one side are the unconscious observers, who make up the vast majority of people on the planet. They live their lives like passengers on a runaway train, believing that reality is something solid and external that just happens to them without their permission or participation. For these people, life is a sequence of random events, luck and misfortune, a series of occurrences they believe they have no control over. They are victims of circumstance, constantly reacting to whatever the world throws at them, trapped in a cycle of action and reaction. On the other side, there's a small fraction that is waking up, a select group that you are now a part of. These are the conscious observers. They are beginning to understand the truth behind the illusion of the material world. For them, the universe isn't a set of solid, separate objects. It's an infinite ocean of potentials, a quantum field of pure energy and information waiting for a command to manifest. They are learning that their attention, the focus of their consciousness, is not passive. It's like a powerful hand that can dive into that ocean of infinite possibilities, and, with the power of focused observation, solidify a specific potential into a real, tangible experience. This fundamental difference is the essence of the first and most important Hermetic principle, mentalism. The maxim, the all is mind. The universe is mental is not a poetic metaphor. It's a literal description of the structure of reality. To the unconscious observer, lost in the illusion of the five senses, the universe seems purely material and external. But to the conscious observer who is beginning to awaken, reality reveals itself as a grand mental projection, a manifestation of the universal mind, the All. You don't live in a physical universe. You live inside an infinite mind, and your thought is the tool to navigate it. Imagine you're in a completely dark movie theater. The unconscious observer believes he is just a powerless viewer, watching a film that's already been recorded and can't be changed in any way. He laughs, cries, and gets scared by the scenes on the screen, completely forgetting that it's all just a projection of light and sound. The conscious observer is the one who, in the middle of the film, realizes he's not in the audience, but in the projection booth. He understands he can choose which film reel to place in the projector, completely changing the story that appears on the screen in front of him. The life of an unconscious observer is a life of randomness, a reactive and often frustrating existence. The life of a conscious observer is a life of intention, a journey of deliberate and powerful creation. The first is governed by apparent chaos, the second is governed by universal law. And you've been receiving constant proof that your ability to observe, to focus your attention, is intensifying, becoming more powerful each day. You're starting to realize you have one foot in the projection room, even if you don't quite know how to operate the machine yet. This transition from one state to the other doesn't happen overnight like a light switch. It's marked by signs, by small tests the universe sends to see if you're paying attention. That little coincidence that happened yesterday, that unlikely event that helped or challenged you in a very specific way, wasn't random. It was a deliberate test, a cosmic wink to check if you've already noticed the movie is responding to your deepest thoughts and feelings. These tests from the universe aren't big cataclysmic events or spectacular miracles. They're subtle, almost imperceptible to those not paying attention. They're what we call micromanifestations, the first tangible rewards that prove you're on the right path of awakening. Think honestly about the last few days. Did you think of someone you hadn't seen in years and suddenly get a message from them or run into them unexpectedly on the street? Were you desperately looking for a specific piece of information and, upon opening a random web page or an old book, the answer was right there, in front of you, as if placed just for you? Those moments aren't luck, chance, or coincidence, no matter what your logical or programmed mind insists. They are irrefutable proof that the observer effect is active in your life in its most basic and fundamental form. It's the universe showing you, in a practical and undeniable way, that your attention is not just an abstract mental process happening inside your skull. It's starting to gain real weight, an electromagnetic signature that directly interacts with the field of potentials around you. Each focused thought is like a tiny magnet pulling things from the quantum soup of possibilities into your physical reality. These events are direct manifestations of the second Hermetic Principle, the principle of correspondence, which states, "As above, so below, as below, so above." Your micromanifestations, those small events in the physical plane, the below, are a perfect mirror of the activity happening in your mental and energetic plane, the above. Your external reality is beginning to align and mirror what's happening inside you with increasing speed. And that can be both exciting and scary, depending on what you're carrying within. You're learning to purify the lead of your chaotic, reactive, and fearful thoughts, and as a result, you're beginning to see the first glimpses of the gold of a consciously created reality. Every time you think of something and it shows up in your life, it's a miniature act of solve et coagula. You dissolved the doubt for a moment, solve, and the reality manifested, coagula. You're becoming the alchemist of your own existence, and these small miracles are the results of your first successful experiments in the laboratory of your mind, the only lab that truly matters. These sparks of synchronicity are proof that the law of correspondence is active and responding to you. But these sparks are only the beginning, the first step on a ladder that leads to unimaginable heights. Now that you've seen the sparks, it's time to understand the fire. The mechanism behind conscious creation goes deeper than simply thinking about something. The real secret isn't just in attention, but in attention charged with emotion. A thought by itself is like a weak spark, with little power to light the fire of manifestation. But a thought combined with a strong and congruent emotion is like pouring gasoline on that spark. Emotion is the quantum amplifier, the fuel that transforms a simple thought into an irresistible creative force. Think of your emotion as a radio frequency. Each emotional state, fear, anger, sadness, joy, love, or gratitude, emits a unique and measurable vibration. That frequency acts as an amplifier that determines which specific possibility, out of the infinite ones in the quantum field, is selected and collapsed into your physical reality. Observing a possibility with the emotion of fear attracts more reasons to be afraid. Observing a possibility with the emotion of gratitude attracts more reasons to be grateful. Emotion is what gives color and strength to your observation. A thought of fear alone is a weak cause, a small ripple in the quantum ocean. But a thought of fear loaded with the overwhelming emotion of panic or chronic anxiety becomes an extremely powerful cause. It's a clear and loud command to the universe which, obeying the law, will inevitably generate a corresponding effect in your reality. You'll begin to see and experience events that justify and validate that panic state, creating a vicious cycle of fear that feeds and strengthens itself day after day. Likewise, a thought of abundance without feeling is just an empty word. But a thought of abundance combined with the deep, genuine feeling of gratitude for what you already have, as if your desire were already real, is one of the most powerful creative forces in the universe. You're sending out a vibrational signal that your desired reality is already a done deal. The universe, as a perfect mirror, has no choice but to reflect that truth back to you, bringing more experiences and circumstances for you to be grateful for. This explains once and for all why superficial positive thinking fails miserably for most people. It's no use repeating positive affirmations like a parrot if, deep down, your body is vibrating at the frequency of fear, doubt, and scarcity. The universe doesn't respond to the words you say. It responds to the music you play, to the frequency you emit. And that frequency is primarily determined by your emotional state, not your logical thoughts. Feeling is the language the quantum field understands. Understanding this not only explains why your past efforts may have failed, but also reveals the hidden purpose behind every hardship, every pain, and every challenge you've ever faced in your life. The periods of loneliness, the failures, the losses, and the moments of despair weren't random punishments from a cruel universe. They were, in fact, a designed and necessary stage of your training. A kind of alchemical quarantine designed to prepare you for the power you are about to claim. This idea that pain and suffering were training might seem counterintuitive, but it's the key to reframing your entire past. Look back at the hardest moments of your life, the times of isolation, the broken hearts, the humiliating failures. The story you told yourself is that it was rejection, abandonment, or bad luck. But the truth runs much deeper. That isolation wasn't rejection. It was a quantum quarantine, a period of deliberate protection orchestrated by your higher self to safeguard the development of your observer power. When you begin to awaken, your energy field becomes extremely sensitive. The chaotic observation of others, with their fears, judgments, and doubts, can interfere with or even cancel out your emerging signal. The universe, in its wisdom, placed you in isolation so that your seed of consciousness could sprout in a controlled environment, far from external vibrational contamination. It was an act of protection, not punishment. You were placed in a greenhouse so you could grow strong enough to later bloom in the open world. The pain you felt during those periods wasn't pointless. It was intense. Accelerated training to learn how to observe reality without desperate attachment. When everything is going well, it's easy to feel good. But the true test of the observer is being able to maintain your center and your frequency in the middle of the storm. The pain forced you to find a strength you didn't know you had. It taught you to observe the chaos without becoming the chaos, to feel the sadness without identifying with it, to experience failure without defining yourself as a failure. It was training in detachment. In the Emerald Tablets, Thoth speaks of his journey descending into the halls of Amenti, the underground darkness, to face the lords of time and death. He didn't do this as punishment, but as a necessary rite of passage in order to be reborn into the light with even greater power. Your isolation, your pain, your descent into your personal hell wasn't abandonment. It was the most crucial phase of your own great work, the moment when you were forced to find your inner light because all the external lights were deliberately turned off by the universe. Pay attention to the signs. Has the technology around you started behaving strangely? Lights flickering when you pass. Phone batteries mysteriously draining or charging quickly in your presence. Computers crashing or working perfectly depending on your mood. That's not a technical glitch. It's your electromagnetic field, now more coherent and powerful, subtly interfering with the electrical fields of devices. Also observe the behavior of animals and small children around you. Do they seem to react more intensely to your presence? Dogs that suddenly bark or calm down? Cats that stare at you or rub against you for no apparent reason? Babies that stop crying or smile when you come near? Animals and children are extremely sensitive to subtle energies. They're not filtered by the logical, skeptical mind. They're feeling your upgrade in power, the shift in your vibrational signature, and reacting to it in a pure and instinctive way. The most obvious sign, however, is the drastic acceleration in the speed and frequency of synchronicities in your life. The micromanifestations that used to be rare and surprising events are now becoming almost daily occurrences. The time between thinking of something and seeing it manifest is shrinking dramatically. You think of a solution to a problem, and hours later, someone calls with the answer. You decide you need more money, and the next day, an unexpected opportunity appears. The lag between your inner world and the outer one is decreasing. These phenomena are the direct result of the fourth Hermetic Principle, the principle of rhythm. The law states, everything flows in and out. Everything has its tides. All things rise and fall. You are coming out of the ebb of the Negredo phase, the winter of your soul, and entering with full force into the flow of a new phase of power and manifestation, the springtime of your awakening. Your energy field, now more coherent and strong after purification, is starting to influence and even dictate the rhythms around you, rather than just being influenced by them. Thoth teaches that the master doesn't deny rhythm, but learns to use it to his advantage. He learns the art of neutralization, which isn't about stopping life's pendulum, but rising above it. Instead of being thrown back and forth between joy and sadness, success and failure, you learn to hold yourself at a point of conscious balance. From that point, you begin to impose your internal rhythm onto the external rhythm. making reality harmonize with your will, not the other way around. The signs you're seeing are proof that you're beginning to master this art instinctively. Your internal rhythm is becoming the dominant note in the orchestra of your reality. The world is starting to dance to your tune. That's your upgrade in action. You are becoming the rhythmic cause, and the world around you is becoming the effect. You're no longer just reacting to the tides of life. You're beginning to command them. These signs are irrefutable proof that you are entering a cosmic time window, a portal of opportunity, a period of energetic amplification unlike anything you've experienced before. It's a moment when your observer power is at its peak, but this window doesn't stay open forever. It requires action and understanding, and to fully use it, to not waste this golden opportunity, you need to understand the final paradox, the subtle obstacle that paralyzes 99% of people who make it this far and try to manifest something big. Here we reach the climax, the point where most seekers stumble and fall, even though they're so close to the finish line. The paradox that paralyzes almost everyone is the paradox of effort. Taught by a society that worships struggle and hard work, when we discover our power, our first reaction is to try to force reality. We try to think positive with effort. We try to visualize with intensity. We try to feel gratitude as a task. But that very effort is the trap. Trying to force a positive observation creates huge energetic resistance, because the act of trying implies a fight against your current reality. When you try to be rich, you're actually shouting to the universe that you are poor. When you try to be healthy, you're reinforcing your identity as someone who is sick. Effort and force are born from lack, from non-acceptance of the present moment. The real power, the secret of the masters, doesn't come from pushing the river, but from surrendering to its current and simply steering the rudder. Power doesn't come from forcing, but from allowing. It comes from a deep recognition that the reality you desire already exists as a potential, and your only job is to tune into it. The perfect analogy is that of a radio. You don't force your favorite station to play. You don't yell at the radio. You don't shake it. You don't strain for the music to come through. You simply and effortlessly turn the dial until your device's frequency matches the frequency of the station already broadcasting. The music was already in the air the whole time. Your only job was to tune in. Your desired reality is the same. It already exists. Your job is not to create it with effort, but to tune your vibration to it. And here, finally, we reveal the promise, Thoth's key to unlock the full power of the observer effect. It's a central secret, a direct quote from the Emerald Tablets that changes everything. Thoth says, "Not like the man of science, who is blind, for in the law there is no cause. The law is the cause." Read that again. The fundamental mistake of the common man, and even the scientist, is trying to be the cause. It's trying to force, to struggle, to push, to create an effect. Thoth's key is the understanding that you are not the cause. The universal law, the 7 Hermetic Principles, that is the cause. Your job is not to create, but to align with the law that creates. Allowing is the conscious act of stopping the fight against the principles and beginning to use them the way a surfer uses the wave. You don't force vibration, you become the vibration you desire. You don't force correspondence, you align your inner world with the desired outer one, knowing the mirror will reflect the image perfectly. You don't force cause and effect, you plant the seed of cause, your state of being, and trust that the effect will bloom at the right time. The key is not an action, it's alignment. It's a change in posture, from warrior to dancer. It's the transition from pushing a locked door with all your might to realizing the door was never locked and the handle was always in your hand. Power doesn't lie in effort. It lies in intelligent surrender to the law. It's about stopping the swim against the current and simply turning around, allowing the flow of creation to take you exactly where you want to go, with grace and without struggle. Now you have the key. You understand that power isn't in effort, it's in alignment. You know your job is to tune in, not force. But this leads to the final and most important question of all. How do you align with a reality your physical eyes still can't see? How do you tune into a radio station you've never heard before? The answer to that question requires one final, liberating paradigm shift. The popular language of awakening has taught us to attract our reality, but that word alone holds a subtle illusion of separation. The idea of attracting implies that what you desire is out there, distant, and you need to pull it closer. The truth is infinitely more powerful and intimate. You don't attract what you want. You reveal what already exists within you and the universal field. The universe isn't a catalog you order from. It's an infinite mirror that relentlessly reflects what you already are, here and now. Think of the analogy of a sculptor standing in front of a raw block of marble. The magnificent statue, the masterpiece, is already contained within the stone. The artist's job is not to create the statue from nothing, but to remove the excess marble that doesn't belong to the vision. He doesn't add anything, he simply reveals what is already there. Your consciousness is the chisel, and your aligned intention, charged with emotion, is the hand that guides that chisel. Your job is not to create a new reality, but to remove everything that doesn't belong to the reality you've chosen. The doubts, the fears, the limiting beliefs, the old stories. The Kybalion gives us the key to this understanding when it says, while the all is unknowable in itself, its mental universe is knowable. That means that although the infinite mind is too vast to be understood, the universe that exists as a potential within it is within your reach. The secret is not to pull something from the outside in, but to reveal what already exists as a perfect potential within the mind of the all. You're not creating a new version of yourself. You're simply removing the layers of dust and dirt to reveal the gold that's always been there. Alchemy calls this process revealing the philosopher's stone that has always been present in the prima materia, the raw material. The stone is not created, it is discovered. It is the result of purification, of removing all the impurities that were hiding it. Your desired reality, your most expanded and fulfilled version, already exists as a perfect potential within the universal mind. Your work of alignment, of tuning in, is an act of revelation, not of forced creation. It's a process of cleansing, of letting go, of becoming transparent so the light that already exists can shine through you. That's why effort fails. Effort is the act of trying to add something, of wrestling with the stone. Allowing is the act of removing, of sculpting with precision. Thoth, as the scribe of the gods, didn't invent reality with his pen. He was the master of reading and recording the eternal truths that already existed in the structure of the cosmos. And by doing so, he made them manifest and understandable. He revealed divine order. Your job, as a conscious observer, is the same. To learn how to read the potentials that already exist and reveal them through your vibrational alignment. When you understand this, you stop fighting and start sculpting. You stop asking and start allowing. You stop looking out there and start clearing in here. The question changes from, how do I get that, to what in me is blocking that from being revealed. It's a subtle shift in the question, but it completely changes the game of creation. You claim power not as a beggar, but as an artist, a master who reveals the perfection that already exists, patiently waiting to be discovered beneath the layers of your old self. If everything already exists as a perfect potential in the mind of the all, then the logical conclusion is overwhelming and transformative. The version of you that already masters this power, that lives in abundance, health, and love, also already exists. It's not some future fantasy, but a parallel reality vibrating at a higher frequency. And that version isn't silent. It is, at this very moment, communicating with you, sending signs and guidance, using a language you've been trained your whole life to ignore, the language of intuition. This communication is the emotional climax of your awakening journey, the final validation that you've never been alone. Intuition is not a vague hunch or a random thought. It's a precise data stream, a download of information coming directly from your expanded version or quantum self, the version of you that already lives in the reality you want to tune into. It's your future self, who has already solved the problems you're dealing with now, sending a map back through time to guide you. It's the most intimate and important communication you'll ever receive. This communication doesn't come through clear words or logical phrases, because it operates on a frequency far beyond the rational mind. It speaks the language of the soul. It's those sudden chills that run down your body when you hear a deep truth. It's that feeling of knowing something without having any idea how you know. It's that deep sense of peace that washes over you when you make a decision, or the sense of urgency that stops you from going down a path that seems logical but your soul rejects. These are not random feelings. They are packets of pure information. These data packets are sent through time and space to guide your choices in the present. Every chill, every gut feeling, every vivid dream, every meaningful coincidence is a message from your quantum self. It's your expanded version telling you, turn left here, trust this person, don't take that offer, pay attention to this. The immediate recognition of a truth, like you might be feeling as you read these words, is your current self resonating with the wisdom of your higher self. It's a moment of alignment, a yes from your soul. This communication is the highest expression of the seventh Hermetic Principle, the principle of gender. The law says, gender is in everything. Everything has its masculine and feminine principles. In your journey of creation, your current self, here and now, represents the feminine principle, the womb that receives the seed, that nurtures, that gestates the new reality. Your expanded version, your quantum self, represents the masculine principle, the will that projects the seed, that sends the information, the intuition, the creative impulse. You are in a constant act of spiritual fertilization. The communication you feel as intuition is, literally, your own higher self, fertilizing your current consciousness with the knowledge needed to gestate and give birth to the new reality you've chosen. You are not alone in this journey. You are in a sacred act of co-creation with yourself, across dimensions. The feminine, your current self, cannot create without the seed of the masculine, your quantum self, and the masculine cannot manifest anything without the womb of the feminine to gestate it. It's a cosmic dance of inner partnership. So, you're not learning anything new. You're actually remembering who you already are, with your own help. Every step of your awakening was guided by that silent voice. Every book you read, every video you watched, every person you met along the way was a response to a call that you yourself sent out from another timeline. You have been your own guide the whole time, patiently leaving a breadcrumb trail so your current self could find the way back home. But for that subtle communication to become a clear, conscious dialogue, for you to stop relying on chance and start receiving guidance on demand, you need a tool. You need an internal compass to navigate the infinite ocean of possibilities and interpret the signals from your quantum self with precision. And that compass, one of the greatest secrets of the Egyptian mystery schools, was encoded by Thoth in the form of a powerful and universal symbol, the Eye of Horus. The Eye of Horus, which you've probably seen many times, isn't just an ancient protective amulet or a vague esoteric symbol. It's a technical diagram, an instruction manual for unified conscious perception. It's the observer's compass. Each of its 6 distinct parts represents a sense or faculty that the initiate must master to perceive reality as it truly is, not just as it appears to be. It's a map for integrating your channels of perception, transforming them into a single, powerful navigation tool. The mathematical fractions associated with each part of the eye are not random. They represent the importance of each sense in the perception of totality. The back part of the eye represents smell, 1.2. The pupil represents vision, 1.4. The eyebrow represents thought, 1.8. The front part represents hearing, 1.16. The curved tail represents taste, 1.32. And the teardrop represents touch, 1.64. Each sense is a doorway to reality, and the conscious observer learns to use all of them in harmony. If you add up these fractions, 1.2 plus 1.4 plus 1.8 plus 1.16 plus 1.32 plus 1.64, the result is 63.64. Where is the last part? The missing 1.64 to complete the whole. This isn't a mathematical mistake by the ancients. That missing fraction is the secret. It represents Thoth's magic touch, unified consciousness itself, the power of the observer who integrates all 6 senses into one coherent whole. It's perception that transcends individual senses. To use the Eye of Horus means to observe reality not just with your physical eyes, but with all your perception channels aligned and focused on your goal. This unified perception is the practical application of the 5th Hermetic Principle, the principle of polarity. The law says, everything is dual. Everything has poles. Everything has its opposite. The unconscious observer lives lost between the poles, being tossed back and forth by life's pendulum. Success and failure, happiness and sadness, love and fear. He identifies with one pole and fears the other, without realizing they are just 2 ends of the same thing. He lives in a world of duality and conflict. The master, using the unified perception of the Eye of Horus, learns to transcend the pairs of opposites. He is no longer a victim of the pendulum swing. He finds the point of balance, the still center, the axis of the wheel. From that point, he does not deny the existence of failure, but sees it as valuable information on the same spectrum as success. He does not fear sadness, because he recognizes it as the other side of happiness, using information from both poles to guide himself wisely, without identifying with either one. Using the Eye of Horus as your internal compass means constantly asking yourself, what am I seeing, hearing, thinking, feeling, smelling, and touching right now that aligns with my desired reality? It's using all your senses to collect data from the present that confirms your new vibration, instead of using them to look for proof of your old reality. It's an act of deliberate focus, tuning all your antennas to the frequency of your choice, ignoring the noise of other stations. With this powerful compass in hand, you can now consciously navigate the quantum field. You have the tool to interpret the signs from your higher self, and to stay balanced amidst life's polarities. But having a compass is useless if you don't know where to point it. The common mistake is trying to leap to the final destination, to the distant treasure island. True mastery, however, lies in navigating toward the next logical step. And there's a simple, powerful technique to identify that step right now. Here's a practical, immediate technique that takes manifestation out of the realm of fantasy and brings it into your present moment. Instead of trying to manifest $1 million or the love of your life, big distant goals that often generate huge internal resistance and doubt, the trained observer focuses on something much simpler and more achievable: collapsing the next frame of your ideal reality. Think of your life as a movie, made up of billions of individual frames. Your job is not to jump to the end of the film, but simply to manifest the next frame. The question to ask is not, what do I want to have in the future? Because that puts you in a state of lack in the present. The right question, the master's question, one is what is the feeling and action most aligned with my expanded version that I can embody now, in this very moment? The answer may be surprisingly simple. It could be making that phone call you've been putting off out of fear. It could be taking 5 minutes to feel genuine gratitude for the air you breathe. It could be simply sitting in silence and allowing yourself to feel peace instead of anxiety. Each of these small acts is like choosing the next frame in the movie of your life. It's a small action, but it tunes your vibration, here and now, to the frequency of your desired reality. By embodying the feeling and action of your future self in the present, the collapse of the next logical step becomes inevitable. If you act like a prosperous person now, managing your finances, being generous, the next frame must contain more prosperity. If you feel love now, practicing self-love, the next frame must contain more love. This is the practical application of the fourth Hermetic Principle, the principle of rhythm. Everything flows in and out. Trying to leap to the end of manifestation is fighting against the natural rhythm of creation. It's trying to force the river to reach the ocean instantly. The next frame technique allows you to move with the flow, in harmony with the law. It's the art of rhythmic neutralization described in the Kybalion. You don't force the river. You simply take the next paddle stroke in the right direction, trusting the current to do the rest. Thoth teaches that the path to wisdom and mastery is built step by step, not in one heroic leap. Every frame you consciously collapse, every small aligned action you take, is a brick you lay in building your new temple, your new reality. The sum of these small, conscious acts is what creates major transformations. Manifestation is not a single, spectacular event. It's a continuous process of collapsing the present moment in alignment, one frame at a time. So stop worrying about the big final goal. That only creates anxiety. Bring your focus back to the only moment that exists, the now. Ask yourself, what's the next small thing the version of me that already has everything I want would do right now? And then do it. Without hesitation, feel the feeling that version would feel. In doing so, you're no longer trying to get there. You are already being here. You're collapsing the future into the present, one moment at a time. You now know how to take the next step. You have the technique to move in harmony with the flow of creation. But the universe, in its infinite intelligence, has a built-in safety mechanism, a verification system to make sure this immense power is not misused or wasted. It's a final test that separates initiates from amateurs, the true master from the casual student. It's the hardest challenge of all, the mirror test. This is the point where most people give up. It's the most common challenge and the reason why so many people, even after experiencing synchronicities and feeling the power, go back to their old patterns. Physical reality, by its dense nature, has a lag, a time delay. It works like a mirror, but not an instant mirror. There is a buffer of time between the shift in your inner vibration and the reflection of that shift in the outer world. And it's during this buffer that the test happens. This is the mirror test. After you've done the inner work, changed your frequency, and started feeling grateful, prosperous, and loved, the outer world will, for a while, still reflect your old vibration. This is the test. You'll feel abundant inside, but your bank account might still show the same number. You'll feel loved and connected, but may still be physically alone. You'll feel healthy and vibrant, but an old symptom may still linger. The universe's question is, can you maintain the new vibration even when the mirror still shows the old reflection? Or will you do what most people do? Will you look into the mirror, your current reality, see the old reflection, lack, loneliness, pain, and react to it? The moment you react with frustration, doubt, or fear to the old reflection, you instantly return to the old vibration. And by doing that, you send a new command to the universe, a command to recreate more of the same reality you're trying to leave behind. You get stuck in a loop, blaming the mirror for not changing, without realizing that it's your reaction to the mirror that keeps it fixed. This is the final test of mastery over the third Hermetic principle, the principle of cause and effect. Every effect has its cause. You planted a new cause, your aligned vibration, your elevated state of being. The corresponding effect will come. It's the law. The time lag is simply the gestation period, the time it takes for the seed to sprout from the soil. Thoth, when he descended into the halls of Amenti, did not see the light immediately. He had to keep his own flame burning in total darkness, trusting the law until the outer light finally matched his inner light. Giving up during the time lag is like an impatient farmer who plants a seed and, the next day, digs it up to see if it's growing, destroying the whole process. Your faith in the law must be greater than your faith in your five senses. Your senses show you the past, the reflection of who you were. Your intuition and your state of being show you the future, the potential that is becoming real. Which one will you believe? The choice is yours, and it determines everything. Passing the mirror test is the act of turning your back to the mirror and falling in love with the image you are holding in your mind and heart. It's trusting the inner feeling more than the outer evidence. It's holding the vibration of your desired reality, not because the world confirms it, but despite the fact that the world doesn't yet confirm it. It's a declaration of absolute power, where you say to the universe, I don't need to see it to believe it. I decide what to believe, and the world will adjust to me. But how do you maintain that unshakable faith when the whole world seems to scream the opposite? How do you stay calm when the mirror reflects chaos? You need a refuge. You need a sanctuary. You need a vibrational anchor point that keeps you grounded while the tides of the past try to pull you back. You need to build your inner sanctuary, your 0 point. To survive and thrive during the mirror test, you need to create a mental and emotional sacred space, a place you can retreat to at any moment, regardless of external circumstances. This is your 0 point, your inner sanctuary. It's a state of being, a place inside you of absolute calm, neutrality, and silent power. It's the eye of the storm, the still center from which you can observe the chaos of the world without being affected by it. This sanctuary is your vibrational anchor. Right now, close your eyes for a moment. Imagine a place, real or imagined, that brings you a deep sense of peace. It could be a deserted beach at sunset, a quiet temple in the mountains, a secret garden, or simply a space of pure white light. Feel this place with all your senses. Feel the temperature of the air, hear the soft sounds, see the vibrant colors. Most importantly, feel the emotion of this place. The peace, the safety, the certainty that everything is okay. This is your sanctuary. To be able to access this state instantly, let's create a physical anchor. While you're immersed in the feeling of your sanctuary, gently touch the tip of your thumb to the tip of your index finger. Keep holding it while you deepen the feeling of peace and power. Do this for a minute. Now you've associated the 0 point state with this physical gesture. From now on, whenever the outer world challenges you, whenever the mirror's reflection causes doubt or fear, You can quietly touch your thumb and index finger, and your nervous system will instantly remember and activate this state of calm. This sanctuary is your strategic refuge during the mirror test. When the old reality shows up, an unexpected bill, a harsh word from someone, a physical pain, instead of reacting impulsively, you have a choice. You take a deep breath, activate your anchor, and retreat to your 0 point for a few seconds. From that space of neutrality, you're no longer a reactive victim. You're a conscious observer. You can look at the situation without being consumed by it, and from there, consciously reaffirm your new vibration, your new choice. This concept is known in all esoteric traditions. It's the sanctum sanctorum of Solomon's temple, the most sacred and protected place where the divine presence dwells. In alchemy, it's the Athanor, the hermetically sealed furnace that allows for the transmutation of matter to occur without any external contamination. By creating and using your inner sanctuary, you're building your own personal Athanor, an inviolable space where your transformation can continue, protected from the chaos and negativity of the outer world. This is the practical application of the art of polarization, one of the Hermetic Principles. Instead of being dragged to the pole of chaos, fear, and doubt, you consciously choose to fix yourself on the opposite pole, the pole of serenity, certainty, and power. You don't deny the other pole exists, but you refuse to give it your energy and attention. You anchor your consciousness in the 0 point, the point of power between both poles. And from there, you command your reality. With your sanctuary built and your anchor established, you're almost ready. You have the key of alignment, the compass of the Eye of Horus, and the anchor of your 0 point. You have the tools to navigate the journey of conscious creation. Now, only one final step remains. A symbolic and powerful act to seal your commitment to the universe. An act that unites the mental and material worlds, officially declaring the beginning of your reign as a conscious observer. We've reached the final act of initiation, the moment to seal your new status into the fabric of reality. This act has much deeper meaning than you might imagine. Take a piece of paper and a pen. Don't type on a keyboard. Don't use a screen. The physicality of this act is crucial. With your own hand, with your own energy, write in capital letters the word observer. Feel the movement of your hand, the pressure of the pen on the paper. This isn't just an act of writing, it's an electromagnetic declaration. This physical act is a contract you're signing with the universe and with yourself. It's a ritual of power. The energy of your thought, electric, which contains the intention and understanding of everything you've learned, flows through your nervous system, down your arm, and through the physical act of writing, magnetic, imprints your intention directly onto the material plane. You're grounding your decision. It's the symbolic act of turning the key you now fully understand, moving it from the realm of knowledge to the realm of action. In the esoteric and magical traditions of all cultures, the written word with focused intention is one of the most powerful acts of manifestation there is. It's the first materialization of a thought, the first step in the precipitation of energy from the invisible realm into the visible one. It's the embodiment of an idea. By writing the word observer, you're actually performing a complex ritual that obeys all 7 Hermetic principles simultaneously, sealing your commitment to the law. Think about it. By writing, you're defining your mental state as a conscious creator. You're adjusting your vibration to the frequency of power and responsibility. You're creating a direct correspondence between your inner intention and an outer action. You're establishing a new and powerful cause in the universe. You're aligning with the rhythm of your own awakening. You're consciously polarizing yourself as a creator, instead of a victim. And you're uniting the principles of gender, the masculine will of writing, and the feminine paper that receives the imprint. It is the final seal of your initiation into the great work. It is your signature at the bottom of a cosmic contract. You're declaring to the universe, to your subconscious mind, and to every cell in your body that the old way of life, the way of the unconscious and reactive observer, is over. From this moment on, you choose to operate from a new paradigm, one of power, intention, and deliberate creation. Keep this paper somewhere you can see it every day, as a constant reminder of your power and your commitment. By writing this word, you're not just jotting something down or doing a silly exercise. You're signing your name in the book of conscious reality, just as Thoth signed his sacred records, documenting the laws of the cosmos. You're claiming your divine inheritance as a co-creator of your own experience. The key is activated. The engine is running. The power that was once dormant is now flowing actively through you, awaiting a command, a direction. But a key, no matter how powerful, is useless unless it's used to open a door. And the first door, the most important of all, is right in front of you, in this very moment, waiting to be opened. The activation of the key isn't the end of the journey. It's the true beginning. And what's on the other side of that door is your new life, waiting to be written by you. The key is activated in your hand, and the first door it opens isn't some mystical portal in another dimension. The first door is your own life, from this very moment on. The invitation now isn't to wait for a miracle or a spectacular sign from the sky. The invitation is to start acting like the master you're becoming. It's to start recording reality in a completely different way, just like Thoth, the scribe, recorded the movements of the heavens and the laws of the universe. You must become the scribe of your own ascension. The final challenge and the first step into your new life is this. For the next 7 days, keep an observer's journal. It can be a simple notebook, but it will become your most sacred book. In it, you will record, like a scientist of consciousness, all the evidence of your new reality. Write down every synchronicity, no matter how small. Write down every micromanifestation. Write down every moment when you used your compass, the eye of Horus, to perceive the world differently. Write down each time you were tested by the mirror test and used your anchor to retreat into your inner sanctuary. This act of consciously recording the evidence is crucial. It trains your brain, specifically your reticular activating system, to look for and see proof of your new reality, instead of looking for confirmation of your old programming of fear and lack. What you focus on expands. By focusing on and documenting the proof of your power, you amplify it exponentially. This journal becomes a field of energetic reinforcement, accelerating the end of the time lag and solidifying your new frequency in the physical world. Don't underestimate the power of this simple act. Every word you write is a declaration. Every event you record is a confirmation. You're building a case for the universe and for yourself that the change is real and permanent. You are documenting your transition from victim to creator, from unconscious observer to master observer. This journal will be irrefutable proof of your power. A testimony you can reread in moments of doubt to reignite your flame. The key is activated. The first door is open. Your journal is the map you will draw as you walk through this new territory. In our next communication, we'll learn how to read the maps you've created. We'll learn how to decode the patterns the universe is showing you through synchronicities, so you can open the next doors, the doors that lead to true mastery over the elements of your life. The journey is just beginning. Start writing. The universe is watching, and now, so are you. If you've made it this far, comment, "Right now I am the observer," to seal your commitment to the law, and show that the key is already turning in your life. If anyone wants to help support the channel more directly, I left a link to contribute in the first pinned comment. It helps me spread more content like this out there. It means a lot to me and to the growth of the channel. Any support you can give is appreciated. But just by staying until the end, you've already helped a lot. If you want to go further, share this video with someone who needs to hear this today. And don't leave yet. I saved a special video for your next step. Click now on the video that's on the screen, and I'll see you there.